The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi children. So today again I am back with another new chapter. Okay, today we are going to deal with the chapter The Danger of a Single Story. So before starting the lesson, shall I ask you, do you like stories? Do you like to listen to stories? Of course, everyone likes to listen to stories with some good moral values. Right children? So today's lesson, I am going to start with a story. We all have heard about 6 blind men going to see an elephant. They started to understand the elephant by touching the animal, right? So the first man touched the legs of the elephant and he described that elephants are like pillars. The second man, he touched the elephant, he touched the ears of the elephant and he said that elephants are like hand fans. Hand fans means vishari. Okay, and the third man, he also touched the tail of the elephant and he said that elephants are like stitch. These 3 men were all right in their own limited ways, but according to the concept of an elephant, they were wrong. So, before coming to conclusion, we should hear not a single story of somebody or something and make a conclusion. Okay? We should understand the whole thing of a matter or of an incident, then only we have to make any comments on it. This is what you learn from this story. Otherwise, when we understand half of the story and if we make any comments, what will happen? It will lead to bias. It may hurt the people, isn't it? This all happens in our life also. Sometimes we become biased in giving a judgment, isn't it? So, always understand the whole thing of a matter and then we have to make comments on it so that we can avoid problems in our life. So for example, before getting into this chapter, let me tell you that India itself has so many culture, right? So the people who live in our country consist of various cultures and beliefs. The stories of these people are overlapping stories. It's like one upon the other. Okay, they are overlapping. We all have overlapping stories. And we should not make any kind of judgment or conclusion by hearing only one story. We have to understand the whole story and then we have to make the comments. So, like Indian culture, different countries have different culture and practices. So it is very important to understand cultural differences. Otherwise, it would lead to false assumptions and it may lead to stereotypes and unfair judgments about individuals or groups. Now, why should we understand the cultural differences? Because cultural differences promotes understanding. Lots of problems can arise from misunderstanding of a matter. So if we understand the cultural differences, it will avoid all kind of problems, especially because we live in a multicultural world. By learning and understanding different cultures, we understand why people do things the way they do. Okay, why are the people doing the things the way they do? When we understand it clearly, we can avoid assumptions and we can avoid so many big problems. Okay, so it is very important to understand the cultural differences so that it will lead to happiness. It will make our mind peaceful so that we don't have to get irritated with others' cultures or with others' character. Okay, this is what Chimamanda says in her speech in the lesson, The Danger of a Single Story. Right? So let's get into the lesson. Okay? So let me start with the introduction passage. How do you observe the world around you? How do values and practices vary across cultures? Our false assumption about others can often lead to stereotypes and unfair judgments about individuals or groups. Stereotypes and biases can affect our lives. Understanding cultural differences can help one see things from a different point of view and develop greater understanding. So, if we understand the cultural differences prevailing in the society as well as in various countries, it will lead to understanding, not misunderstanding. Okay, so that's what Chimamanda is saying in this story. Let's see what Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie tells us in her enlightening speech, The Danger of a Single Story. I am a storyteller and I would like to tell you a few personal stories about what I like to call the danger of a single story. I grew up on a university campus in eastern Nigeria. My mother says that I started reading at the age of 2, although I think it probably happened when I was 4. So I was an early reader and what I read were British and American children's books. So, who is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie? She is a storyteller. She started the speech by saying, I am a storyteller. So, what is the significance of that? It will create an impact in the reader's mind. It catches the attention of the readers or the listeners. Okay? So, she is telling that she is a storyteller. And I would like to tell you a few personal stories about what I like to call the danger of a single story. She is trying to convey some stories which she wants to describe it as the danger of a single story. I grew up on a university campus in eastern Nigeria. My mother says that I started reading at the age of 2, although I think it probably happened when I was 4. So she grew up in eastern Nigeria and her mother used to say that she started reading at the age of 2. But Chimamanda claims that she started reading at the age of 4. Okay, so I was an early reader and what I read were British and American children's books. She belongs to Nigeria, an African country, but she used to read from her early ages books like British and American children's books or the literature of America and British. Okay. I was also an early writer and when I began to write at about the age of 7, stories in pencil with crayon illustrations that my poor mother was obligated to read, I wrote exactly the kinds of stories I was reading. All my characters were white and blue-eyed. They played in the snow, they ate apples and they talked a lot about the weather, how lovely it was that the sun had come out. But I had never been outside Nigeria. We didn't have snow, we ate mangoes and we never talked about the weather because there was no need to. So now she is saying about the influence of British and American literature in her writings. Okay. So she is saying that she was an early writer too, and she used to write stories with pencils, with crayons, all those things. Okay, and these stories, who was obliged to read all the stories? Of course, it is her mother. Usually, children in their small age, whatever they do, mothers are obliged to understand all those things, isn't it? So here, Chimamanda, she started writing stories from her younger age, and all the stories were read by her mother. I wrote exactly the kinds of stories I was reading. All my characters were white and blue-eyed, and they played in the snow. Means she used to read British and American literatures, and that stories have influenced her, so that she has started writing stories like that of an American and British culture. Okay, and her characters were also like British and American people. Okay, they were blue-eyed, they were talking about the weather, they were talking about the snow, and she's also saying that when the sun rises in the sky, they used to say, because American and British are very cold region. Okay, so always there will be snowfall, and here when the sun rises in the sky, they say about they feel the good weather. So same way she used to write her stories. Okay, she used to illustrate her stories. But I had never been outside Nigeria. We didn't have snow, we ate mangoes, and we never talked about the weather because there was no need to. But she has never experienced what is outside Nigeria. She lives in Nigeria and she knows the culture of Nigeria very well. But what influenced in her life as a child? The stories which she read. Okay, she used to read British and American literatures. So that stories influenced her very well. She is also a story writer. So she started to write stories, and in her stories, the characters as well as the plots were American and British based. Okay. What this shows, I think, is how impressionable and vulnerable we are in the face of a story, particularly as children, because all I had read were books in which characters were foreign. I had become convinced that books by their very nature had to have foreigners in them and had to be about things with which I could not personally identify. Now things changed when I discovered African books. There weren't many of them available, and they weren't quite as easy to find as the foreign books. But when I read Chinua Achebe and Kamara Lay, I realized that people like me, girls with skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. I started to write about things I recognized. I loved the American and British books I read. They stirred my imagination and opened up new worlds for me. But African writers saved me from having a single story of what books are. Okay, so in this para, she is saying how impressionable and vulnerable are we, that we get influenced to stories. Okay, impressionable means easily influenced or affected by something. So what this shows, I think, is how impressionable and vulnerable we are in the face of a story, particularly as children. Children easily get influenced by hearing the stories. So you know that grandparents, they used to say stories. Even your grandparents might have told you stories which has moral values, so that you get influenced very soon with the stories that they say, and you lead a life, you lead a good life. That is their motive behind saying good stories to children, isn't it? So here Chimamanda is also saying that how impressionable means easily getting influenced to stories. and vulnerable. Vulnerable means weak and easily hurt physically or emotionally. We are weak. By hearing, weakness is not a negative thing here, but we get, as a child, we get very soon influenced to stories. That is our weakness. Okay, that is our weakness as a child. That's what she's saying. Because all I had read were books in which characters were foreign, I had become convinced that books by their very nature had to have foreigners in them and had to be about things with which I could not personally identify. So as a storyteller or a story writer, she believed that all the stories should have foreign characters, because her practice is like that. She is reading only British and American literatures. Till that time she thought that that stories should have, or the characters should be only foreigners with blue eyes and fair complexion. Okay, and their culture, it has to be written in stories. That was her belief. Now things changed when I discovered African books. There weren't many of them available, and they weren't quite as easy to find as the foreign books. So this mentality or this thought process of Chimamanda changed, that the story should contain only foreigners, when she discovered African literature or African books. African books are not available in lots of numbers, but they weren't quite as easy to find as the foreign books, but they were not available as the foreign books, as the British and American books. They were very less in number. But when I read Chinua Achebe and Kamara Lay, I realized that people like me, girls with skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. So when she read the two African books, Chinua Achebe and Kamara Lay, when she read these two African books, she understood that the stories can contain people or characters like her, like kinky hair. Kinky hair means curly hair, which cannot form ponytails. Also, the skin color she is describing as chocolate color, means little bit black complexion. So characters like this can also exist in stories. That she understood after reading the African books Chinua Achebe and Kamara Lay. I loved the American and British books I read. They stirred my imagination and opened up new worlds for me. But even though she read African literature, she loved to read British and American literatures because it stirred her imagination. It stirred her imagination means she could develop her imagining ability, okay, and opened up new worlds for me. And also it showed new worlds to her. But African writers saved me from having a single story of what books are. I come from a conventional middle class Nigerian family. My father was a professor, my mother was an administrator, and so we had, as was the norm, live in domestic help, who would often come from nearby rural villages. So the year I turned 8, we got a new houseboy. His name was Fide. The only thing my mother told us about him was that his family was very poor. My mother sent yams and rice and our old clothes to his family. And when I didn't finish my dinner, my mother would say, "Finish your dinner, don't you know people like Fide's family have nothing?" So I felt enormous pity for Fide's family. So what did you see in this para? I come from a conventional middle class Nigerian family. Conventional means who believes in the old culture and old practices. So she came from such a family. My father was a professor, my mother was an administrator. So they both are educated and they are working people. Father is a professor and mother is an administrator. And so we had, as was the norm, live in domestic help. So as the parents are working, they have to keep a servant for their help. and this servant used to come from a nearby rural village. His name was Fide. So that servant's name is Fide. He's a small boy of Chimamanda's age. The only thing my mother told us about him was that his family was very poor. My mother sent yams and rice and our old clothes to his family. The only thing what mother told her was that Fide's family is very poor and she used to practice giving yams and rice to his family. And when I didn't finish my dinner, my mother would say, "Finish your dinner. Don't you know people like Fide's family have nothing?" So I felt enormous pity for Fide's family. And when she never finishes her dinner, when she is hesitant to finish her dinner, mother used to scold her by saying that, "Don't you know Fide's family is very poor. They don't have enough to eat and you are wasting food." This is how the statement was made by mother. And this statement created a single story in her mind that she started feeling enormous pity on Fide's family. Okay, now the next para. Then one Saturday we went on his village to visit and his mother showed us a beautifully patterned basket of dyed raffia that his brother had made. I was startled. It had not occurred to me that anybody in his family could actually make something. All I had heard about them was how poor they were, so that it had become impossible for me to see them as anything else but poor. Their poverty was my single story of them. So in this para you can see, then one Saturday we went to his village to visit and his mother showed us a beautifully patterned basket of dyed raffia that his brother had made. Chimamanda went to Fide's house and Fide's mother showed them a basket beautifully made by Fide's brother. Okay, and it is made up of dyed raffia, means like bamboo sticks. Okay, with bamboo sticks. It is made beautifully by Fide's brother. And by seeing this, she was startled because she already had a single story about Fide's family. She thinks that when somebody is poor, as per the description of her mother, she thought that Fide's family is not capable of doing anything. She felt that Fide's family could hardly do anything like this creative things. Okay, so she was startled to see the beautiful basket made by Fide's brother. And she is saying that this was a single story that she understood about Fide's family. Okay, she just understood that Fide's family is very poor. She didn't understand much about them, or she was not able to find out much about them. Okay, she just thought that poor people can hardly do anything. That was a single story about Fide's family that she understood from her mother's statements. Okay. Now next one. Years later, I thought about this when I left Nigeria to go to university in the United States. I was 19. My American roommate was shocked by me. She asked where I had learned to speak English so well and was confused when I said that Nigeria happened to have English as its official language. She asked if she could listen to what she called my tribal music and was consequently very disappointed when I produced my tape of Mariah Carey. Okay. So years later, I thought about this when I left Nigeria to go to university in the United States. Means years after she thought about such a single story when she left Nigeria to go to the university in United States. She went there for higher studies in United States. At that time, she understood what is the danger of a single story. Because usually when we hear about Africa, what comes to our mind? Obviously, a picture comes to our mind like uneducated people, they are black in complexion, they don't have enough clothes or food to eat. Isn't it? That all pictures come to our mind. In the same way, when she joined for higher studies in United States, such a single story happened in her life also. She was having an American roommate who was shocked by seeing Chimamanda, because Chimamanda started to speak in English to that roommate who is an American. Okay, and she was shocked and she asked Chimamanda, "From where did you learn to speak English?" So Chimamanda replied that Nigeria used to have English as their official language. Okay. She asked if she could listen to what she called my tribal music, and was consequently very disappointed when I produced my tape of Mariah Carey. And we used to think that Africans are tribal people, isn't it? So she asked Chimamanda to just play the tribal music. At that time, Chimamanda played the music of Mariah Carey. Okay, Mariah Carey is a famous American singer. So when she played Mariah Carey's music, she was again startled, or she was again shocked. Okay, with that I conclude this session, and very soon we will meet again with the remaining part of the lesson. Okay, so bye. Thank you.